Okay, so here's the first thing that we're going to debunk, okay? When somebody comes to me and they say, oh, so you help men lose weight. And I said, no, that's not what we're doing. Losing weight is a misinterpretation of what you guys really want. When you guys have belly fat, it's not that you want to lose weight. It's that you want to get rid of the belly fat, but keep your muscle. And why is this important? You have all those people out there getting the injection, the skinny jabs, as I call them. They're getting those shots so that they can, quote unquote, lose weight. Well, when they lose weight, they unfortunately are losing muscle. And when you guys lose muscle after the age of 50, it is detrimental to your health. Now, I'm not going to go into the weeds and talk about all that with the muscles, but just I know that you guys don't want to lose muscle when you lose fat. We want to lose fat that is dangerous fat. And you guys can say out there, oh, I know what she's talking about. She's talking about visceral fat. Well, yes, that's part of it. There's also subcutaneous fat. But what really matters is you guys need to know how to lose the fat that matters so you look your best, you feel your best, and you're internally healthy. And this is my biggest problem when people call me a weight loss coach. No, you don't need me for weight loss. You can go get the drug, get injected, lose the weight, but still have the health problems internally. So that's why we're debunking that myth of losing weight.
And how do we go about not getting on the, what'd you call it?
The skinny jab.
The skinny jab?
Okay. Well, first of all, the reason I call it the skinny jab is because you will lose weight, but you're going to look skinny, not muscular and strong. And one thing that's important for you guys to know is you don't want to chase the wrong metric. It's called the key performance indicators that you guys want to look at. And that is not the weight scale. Yes, that's something you can document. And I say to my clients, hey, if you want to tell me for shits and giggles how much you lost, fine, I'll take that. But what I really, really want to know is what's the measurement around the waistline at your belly button. So for the tweak of the week that I'm teaching them, you guys have a tape measure. You take that and you measure around your belly, right at the belly button. And that measurement in inches has to be below the obesity marker line so that you can start reversing disease. So what's the obesity marker line? Well, that depends on how tall you are. So let's say you're 6 feet tall. 6 times 12 is how many inches?
I'm good at math, but I have to add that one. 60, 80, 70.
So 6 times 12 is 72.
Okay, you can't
right?
put me in a spot like that.
Oh. He usually is very good at math, so this must be because we're live. But anyways, I'm not really good at math. But anyway, 72 inches. So let's say you're 6 feet tall. That means you're 72 inches tall. If you're 72 inches tall, you divide that by 2. So what's the math on that? 35, 36 inches, right? 36 inches. If your belly fat area around the belly is 36 inches or more, you are in the category of obesity. You guys are going to be surprised how many of you don't consider yourself obese because that measurement is very, unfortunately today, easy to reach. So you can have a guy that actually looks good. And I'm going to tell you right now, when I look at the NFL lineup, when I see the guys like just recently on Super Bowl, I can tell you a lot of those linemen are obese. They're unhealthy on the inside. We're going to go in the future video weekly about what markers to look at so I can clue you in on what your doctors are missing. But here's the important key for today. All I want you guys to do is get a tape measure around your belly, take your height in inches, divide it by 2, see where you land. If you are above that obesity marker line, you can get below that and get healthier.
Well, but aren't football players supposed to be big and thick for linemen? I mean, they have a different career, but that's why maybe they're also not healthy.
As a matter of fact, I have clients that have come from that area of the line of work of being in the NFL. What they don't realize is it's easier for an NFL lineman to gain fat than it is for him to gain muscle. Because all he has to do is eat a lot and then he gets big, right? To build muscle, that's a whole nother can of worms that they don't want to go into. All they need to do is get these guys fattened up and put them on the front line. But for those of you who don't play for the NFL, you're not going to be making millions of dollars being fat. Being fat is probably going to cost you thousands of dollars, if not millions later, in healthcare problems. So during our weekly, what I'll call these weekly live recordings or weekly live chats, whatever you want to call it, I'll be giving you guys the tips to build that muscle while you're burning the fat. That's going
to keep us healthy.
Right.
From the inside out.
And think of the linemen here. Let's go back to the linemen. I've had them come to me and say, yeah, this was all good and fine when I was in my 20s and 30s, but now I'm 60 and I'm not going to be here for my grandchildren. Because now what has happened to them in the NFL has caught up to them later in life, that now their bodies are breaking down. And that's pretty sad, because it doesn't have to be that way. Now, granted, they could have been big and heavy while they were in the NFL, and then I don't know what age a lineman would retire, but let's just say in their 30s.
Yeah, probably 30s, okay. 30s, 40s.
So in their 30s, I could have helped them back then, but they don't come in until they're in their 60s, because they see the repercussions of being overweight for that long. That's when they come in and ask for help. So again, that's why I only work with men that are over the age of 50, because it seems like you guys have to have something happen before you raise your hand and say, hey, I need help. So I'm trying to give you guys the information early. For those of you out there that are younger, it will work for you too. Again, measure your waist at your belly button.